tea, derivative still.
Greetings and felicitations.
Can I offer you some tea?
Good tea. Nice house.
Would you make me some of that Plomeek soup?
Hello and welcome to Plomeek Teatime number 43. This week, so sadly, of course, there's the news that every Star Trek fan knows about. That we lost Manny Coto, the showrunner for seasons 3 and 4 of Star Trek Enterprise. And to honor his work in that today, obviously he's done much more than that. I wanted to cover an Enterprise episode, and Scotty R37 chose for me In a Mirror Darkly.
Yay!
Correct? And we're going to celebrate this episode. And we're going to talk about this episode, but Manny Coto was also doing so much more that he was still working all the way up until his passing. So he wasn't even close to being done sharing his genius. And I hadn't seen it, but he also worked for Dexter. He wrote for Dexter and a lot for the American Horror Story.
Mm-hmm.
In 2020, he also created a show about artificial intelligence called Next, having to do with an FBI agent trying to stop rogue artificial intelligence, which kind of sounds fun. I'm always going on about how Star Trek should hire actual Star Trek creators from the 90s because they actually know science fiction instead of the soap opera.
How Star Trek should.
Right. Yeah, but...
Jill, where? Oh, Sakura.
Yeah. Huh?
Sorry. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. And instead of worrying about a franchise that no longer cares, I should be looking into the careers of those creators. Like, of course, Ronald D. Moore with his For All Mankind, because I'm missing on some really cool stuff like this. Like, if anyone has seen Next in the chat and likes it or doesn't like it, please let me know, and I'd like to hear about it. He also created, earlier than that, he also created Odyssey 5, which also seemed like fun, having to do with space shuttle crew being thrown back in time to keep Earth from being destroyed. That's what the basic plot of the show says it is, but I haven't seen it. But anyway, thank you to Manny Coto, and for him we're going to talk about In a Mirror Darkly today. And it first aired on April 22nd, and the second part aired on April 29th. The first half was written by Mike Sussman and directed by James L. Conway. I'm so glad that you chose this episode, Scotty, because the story by credit for the second half is by Manny Coto, with
Yay.
the teleplay by Michael Sussman and directed by Marvin Rush. Oh, crap. I gotta grab my phone. Hold on.
Okay. That is no worry whatsoever. Heavens. But I do enjoy this. This is In a Mirror Darkly. It's a strange situation because I usually, when people haven't seen Enterprise at all, I typically sort of direct them to this two-parter just because it does have so many of the accoutrements of classic Star Trek. Obviously, in the second part, spoilers for In a Mirror Darkly, they do go to Tholian space to retrieve the Defiant, the Constitution-class Defiant from the original series episode, The Tholian Web. Once it phased out of existence, apparently it reappeared in the past. And so when Archer and the crew of the NX-01 do get to the Defiant, you get to see classic costumes and sets. And we'll talk about it more as we get there. But I do really enjoy it. It is difficult for me to wrap my head around why exactly I point people towards In a Mirror Darkly, because as we've mentioned on several episodes of reviewing classic Trek, Next Generation, any of them, is that to get the characterization of your regulars from an episode where it isn't them. This is, I think, one of two episodes that are considered to be, in all of Star Trek, the only ones that don't have any of the actual regulars, because these characters are not our heroes from the rest of the series. Obviously, they're from the Mirror Universe. Also, it's a weird situation as well, because it's an episode that completely takes place in the mirror universe. There is no crossover from the Prime universe into the mirror universe, unless you count, because there is a hallucination of classic Archer, but I don't. In the same way that Living Witness is considered, the Voyager episode is considered not to be any of the regulars because they're all holographic representations, and it's a copy of the EMH in that episode.
I think that was a brilliant move, because it does a great service to the original series to not put the Prime characters into the Mirror Universe episode, because then it is still Captain Kirk and crew who get to interact with the Mirror Universe first. So since this is a prequel episode to that, and so that pays high respect to the episode, and to the franchise as a whole. And I don't know, I just really enjoy that.
Well, and I do too, and it does. Enterprise always had sort of an interesting tap dance going on when it would do its prequel episodes, like the Borg episode or the Ferengi episode or the Romulan episode, because there were certain things that you just couldn't do. You couldn't identify the Borg, because the first time that we meet the Borg obviously is in second season of Next Generation. So even shooting past the original series, same deal was with the Ferengi, because they were more of a loose threat in the first season of Next Generation. But here, we also get sort of a divergent, or a sign of the divergence of our universe and the mirror universe, when the Vulcans do land at Bozeman. And it's a great sort of recreation with a mirror universe evil twist at the beginning of the episode that is great. They use
and if you're, it's a shocking twist.
Absolutely.
Apparently, this okay, I'm sorry.
No, please go ahead.
Apparently, this episode, the title of this episode comes from the Bible, and I didn't know that. From the standard version, for now we see in a mirror darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know fully, even as also I was fully known. So, and then I think Captain Picard says something similar in Star Trek Nemesis, but we don't care about that. Hello to, I do want to say hello to the chat. Also, hello to Canadian Spider-Man. And he says, what a great show. Love Enterprise and love DePaul. Hubba hubba.
Yes, she is a bit of a smoke show in her evil incarnation.
She is evil or Prime.
Yeah, true.
Mark Harkness says, I admit it, it took some warming up for me on this show. Not a fan of the Temporal Cold War, but this episode, this season, I mean, as all around.
A's
all around. Oh, A's all around. And who says a 60s Connie can't look good anymore?
Yes. Well, and this is, hey, Franco Walker, hi, and Mark Harkness, ahoy.
Yeah.
This is also like in the classic 735.
Of course.
When you do get to go back to 23rd century aesthetic, it looks like the 23rd century that we all know. And so, as opposed to as it should, absolutely.
Hello to Reba Bell. He says, what's up, Plus C Nation? Franco Walker says, who else has noticed flies are hard to kill this year? I splattered one with the tea towel earlier and flushed it down the sink. I've seen it again in the sink, still with its guts hanging. What the?
Oh my
flushed it again with boiling water. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, there's no better time to talk about mutilating insects than on a mirror episode of Star Trek.
Yes. That sounds like an agonizer right there.
And I think they did a great job of paying respect to the 60s era of Star Trek in this episode. They didn't try to modernize it. The only thing they did try to modernize was the Gorn, and that was fair enough. I thought it looked all right.
Yeah, But in
But
terms
we'll
of the
see what it is.
characterization of the Gorn, one of the problems whenever they bring back Gorn is that they make them into like raptors or xenomorphs or something, and they are, they are a capable, articulate alien race, spacefaring even. So to turn them into, the bad guy monsters of the week is kind of weird, but I think they used motion capture and CGI on it, and I thought it looked good.
I think so too. At least in Enterprise, he's standing upright, and he's obviously an intelligent bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Franco Walker says, I watched the first 3 episodes of Odyssey 5 on YouTube.
Oh, nice.
And he says it's awesome, so I should check that out. Franco Walker says this is a good episode of Enterprise. Yeah, Scotty chose well. Franco Walker says Kirk will be the first to cross over until they do SNW.
On Strange New Worlds.
Oh, until they do it. Oh, right, of course. Well, no, he always will be because the only real Star Trek is up until 2005, so you don't have to worry, Franco Walker.
True. Yeah, we don't talk. I don't even want to talk about Emperor Georgiou or Empress Georgiou.
Oh my god. Yeah. No. That was so that they mired it so deep into that it just wasn't fun anymore. And the Mirror Universe is supposed to be kind of fun, kind of off the wall evil instead of like straight up how evil really would be. And so and so this episode gets that. Hello to Dalek 451 and Kapla to Bird of Prey 5.
Kapla. It's interesting that someone brought up Kirk. There was an idea that this would have been a 2-part episode that incorporated William Shatner as Mirror Kirk, who is thrown back in time by the Tantalus field. Remember when we were asking what happens to the people who are deleted by the Tantalus field?
Right, where do they go? Are they in the penalty box with Q?
One of the things that they were exploring as well was bringing back Shatner for season 4, but they couldn't reach a deal, and so it fell through. But I'm glad with the episodes that we got, and I don't even know if I would like seeing William Shatner as Kirk in Enterprise, especially not Mirror Kirk.
Yeah, he'd be messing with his own canon in that case. It'd be strange, unless it was only Mirror Kirk.
Well, and I think
you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, but it was intended just to be the mirror version of.
Okay, then that could have worked. I wish. Well, I don't know. I don't know what I wish. What came out was so good. I'm fine with it.
And so I do. This recreation of First Contact is fantastic.
It is, and it is a shocking bit of the turn of events. Because after the greeting, of course, this part's the same, and then this part is different.
Until he pulls out a shotgun, as you know, you do.
Of course, right. Nothing says we're going to take over the galaxy by shooting your first contact visitors well before you even launch your first trip into after your first trip. After your first trip in warp drive. Excuse me. Hello to Herc130. Great to see you. Jim's Landscape. Commodore Productions. And Bird of Prey 5 says, your organismatizer, please. The Mirror Universe. Or agonizing? But
no, I prefer the orgasmatizer.
Edge of Time says the flies are using AI. They took our germs. Oh man, what if some of the flies are AI? Just kidding. Skynet is here. Frank Walker says, very good point, Jill. 2005 is the cutoff point. It really helps. Good to keep in mind. Scotty gets it.
I gets the orgasmatizer. Oh.
Y'all
Board
are
the
too
ship. Take
overkind for
everything
that.
you can.
No, we get the new theme song, which is infinitely better than the regular theme song.
You know my stance on It's Been a Long Road. I like that song, and it's probably because it's been driven into my brain. It's not because it's a great song. I've just heard it so many times that when I first encountered it, I disliked it and grew on me over the years.
Well, yeah, it grew on me too, but I still recognize it's terrible.
Yes. It's still in my playlist, though. It's in
Yeah,
rotation.
yeah, same here. It's pretty high up in my playlist too. I have a weird relationship with it. And of course the new there's not only a new song for the credits, but also new imagery because instead
Mhm.
of imageries of exploration and discovery, we've got images of war, a human death and destruction.
The chaotic history of the mirror universe Earth.
Mm,
Lots of explosions.
yeah.
But I do, and again, it was in, I think, I forget which one of the Shatner novels it was, but there's a Shatner novel where Picard goes over to the mirror universe, and I've discussed it. I mentioned it before, that he goes over the history of the mirror universe Earth, and everything is obviously more violent and deadly, and the only thing that remains the same in both universes are the works of William Shakespeare.
Yeah, that makes sense. But
Mm.
yeah.
But it is
I would think a
interesting and
few more
jarring.
I would think a few more things would be the same. Tarantino movies.
Tarantino movies, maybe, yeah.
Or Tarantino movies would be nice. I don't know, because that would be
Yeah, exactly. The opposite.
Because that would be the going against the grain. Wouldn't it be fun if we all got along?
Mm. What if
Because
the mirror
Tarantino is
universe even
actually
if
a
the
Star
mirror
Trek
universe
fan.
actually does have a G rating?
No, I don't think so. I wouldn't think they care. But maybe.
But we get Admiral Forrest.
There definitely would be censorship.
Yes. Propaganda and
Gorilla's
censorship.
Oh yeah, Gorilla's random thought says, "Hey everyone, Jill. I hope you're not still PO'd with last night with you having to suffer the intended target of Operation Cringe. Though I do appreciate you coming to the stream. Oh right, because Gorilla played a bad horror TV show from the Fox News Network from a few years ago called Screaming Queens or Queen Scream or something.
Scream
And
Queens.
yeah, and it was just like about a sorority who murder people. I don't know. It was weird.
Sounds fun.
Well, yeah, there's like 2 minutes of fun, and then the rest of it's kind of dumb.
Oh, okay.
Like 2017, maybe a little earlier, would be the cutoff point for Doctor Who. I've been watching some classic Doctor Who this week.
Nice.
And Gorilla's random thoughts says, I remember the first time watching this episode, I was going through puberty, and we got to see Hoshi in that outfit, and you can imagine the rest. Oh. He says that he's turning into Scotty with this comment.
I don't think I have a monopoly on admiring the attractive members
Yeah,
of Starfleet.
I don't think so either. No, PvP does the same thing where when he expresses stuff like that, he's like, "Oh well, I'll be like Scotty." Okay, so Franco Walker says these opening credits are so much better than the usual one. Yeah. And Herc 130 says I can never get over that galactically stupid hat that Zephyr Cochrane wears. Oh man, if Fiona were here, uh, Fiona M. Yeah, she really doesn't like the retcon of the original Cochrane from the original series in First Contact.
Really?
Yeah.
I was always okay with it.
Because yeah, right. Because well, frankly, I think primarily it's because he's supposed to be from Alpha Centauri.
Yeah, and the Garfield and Judith Reeves Stevens novel Federation does sort of play with that, in that instead of being born on Alpha Centauri, it was him. That was where he retired after he was finished, and that that was sort of set up in, what was it? In a, oh my God, Metamorphosis. Is that the one with Zephram Cochrane? We just
Yeah.
reviewed it recently.
Yeah, that's right. Metamorphosis,
Yeah.
correct. You got
And
it.
so-
Yeah, with the cloud.
An
The
old
cloud that
man,
loves him.
Yes, the man.
An old man made into a young man by the cloud.
Yes, yes.
Kind of immortal as long as he stays on the planet.
The man must continue.
Yeah, and he needs friends to continue, so you must stay with him.
Mhm.
Thank you for being our prisoner forever. Hello to Aravic Sandra.
Hey, Aravic.
Yeah, he's happy to see you. So there's a captain's log, like you said, Captain Forrester. We've left the Gorlon station and have set course to rendezvous with our assault fleet. Major Reed and the doctor have asked for a few minutes to show me their latest project. And of course, the latest project. What I really love about Mike Sussman in this episode is that apparently he obtained a copy of the Mirror Mirror script and he read it. He got to know the original Mirror episode before he wrote this. And so that's how we get this a well done idea of this agonizer booth here.
Mm-hmm. Is that a Tellarite?
This is a Tellarite. And it was a introduction to how completely racist everybody in the Mirror Universe is.
Yes. Well, it does come. It comes back into play throughout the show.
Mm-hmm. It does. Yeah,
And so
they torture him.
Yes. And with Admiral Forrest, actually, I think it was earlier in this season that Admiral Forrest in the Prime universe is killed. So this is from what, if I remember correctly, the last appearance of Von Armstrong.
This is correct. This is his last appearance, and he was so happy in this episode that this was his way to go out because he finally got the girl.
Ha! And I do, yeah. Hoshi is as the captain's woman. Not too concerned with who the captain is, just as long as she gets to keep the position.
Yes, and that was a beautiful use of the original politics of the Mirror Universe from the original episode. Is that's how some women were able to advance in rank and power in the Mirror Universe, and so this episode didn't shy away from that fact.
And I think I read that this is one of Scott Bakula's favorites as well.
Oh, right. Well, he definitely got to step out of his usual kind of roles of being the good guy. So definitely.
Just chewing up scenery. Everybody's a little over the top, but it's great. It works.
It does. And I think that's really how the Mirror Universe is supposed to be portrayed.
Mm-hmm.
And so Archer, he wants to go to Thorlian space because there's some technology there that he knows that will help the Empire. You know, Forrest is I don't know. Forrest doesn't seem that interested. He doesn't care. I don't know.
Well, and this is like, again, it's sort of a part of the Mirror Universe politics is that nobody likes suggestions. There's no cooperation. And if anybody has an idea that is good, then most likely they're going to be killed and it'll be stolen.
Right. And they're not friends. They're all waiting to kill each other and see how they can use one another rather than work with each other. That's right. And yes, it is fun. Hoshi is the captain's woman. And so she distracts him from his work, trying to help him, I guess, relax. But she's still a teacher in Brazil, so that's the same thing in both universes.
Well, and that's also similar to how it worked in the original series as well. Like Uhura was still the communications officer, Dr. McCoy was still the doctor.
Right. Hey, James Caserta, welcome.
Hey, James. And
He says,
yes, 62 years old. Rest in peace, Manny.
yes, rest in peace, Manny. That's why we're watching this episode today, for Manny.
Mm-hmm.
And hello to Matt G. Well, he adds all those L's. I have to add a G.
Of course.
Like,
No argument.
okay. Just have to explain that. For anybody only listening and they can't see the screen. But that was one of his first ideas Mike Sussman had to make Hoshi Sato become the captain's one, which was great. And because so many of the characters' nature, their true nature, were reversed in this episode, not just hers. And so Archer very quickly dispatches the captain and imprisons him. Because he has some people on his side on the ship. Reed and Travis Mayweather. And T'Pol is on the bridge command chair. And Archer gets control of the ship. He's saying that he's got Starfleet orders to take over, but T'Pol's kind of suspicious of that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what the heck is he dissecting?
It looks like one of the insectoid Zindies.
He seems very happy to be dissecting it. Like, this is like fun time for him.
And this was a nice touch that I liked with Trip having the Delta Ray scars, similar to what Captain Pike had in the Menagerie.
Oh, this is like Captain Pike. Wow, I didn't think about that. Okay. I was actually thinking about Sulu's scar, but it's like his scar was not from radiation.
No. Sorry, excuse me for just one moment, please.
No, no problem at all.
Thank you.
Wrinkle Walker says hello. James Caserta says, I'm married to Jill in another reality. I don't know. Herc 130 says, Matt G. Yeah. So, yeah. So this version of Trip Tucker, Manny Coto wanted him to be scarred. Oh yeah, so this is it. And the Enterprise warp reactor not quite up to Starfleet specifications. So yeah, you're right about this being like Christopher Pike's disfigurement.
Just
Although,
fun
of
little
course,
Easter eggs.
yeah, it's just, of course, less severe. He doesn't have to ride around in a wheelchair.
Right.
And
The
beat.
Delta Rays.
So then we get our first captain's log from Jonathan Archer, which I will put in the private chat. So,
Enterprise Star Log, Captain Jonathan Archer. The crew has accepted the change of command without incident. Chief Engineer Tucker reports we'll have cloaking capability within 6 hours. That was my evil Archer voice.
That was pretty good.
Thanks.
Might even be better than actual Archer's evil voice. Like, he was really hammy in this episode, but I loved it still. Oh, in the ready room, T'Pol acts like she's accepting Archer in command. Of course, we know she's not. And Archer's playing with an old gun that Zephyr Cochrane used to used to shoot the Vulcans just to remind T'Pol her place under him as the inferior species, I guess.
Yes.
And she tells him they're probably already in Tholian space. So that's where they want to be anyway. At least that's where he wants to be.
I wonder if this is the first time we saw T'Pol in the actual, like, obviously it's the mirror jumpsuit, but the Starfleet uniform.
Oh, good question.
I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've gone through it.
I know.
think-
I need to rewatch Enterprise myself. So any questions like that, either you know it or I probably don't. I don't make it a secret. I really need to rewatch Enterprise. Matt G says, in this universe, people praise the Disney sequel trilogy. Earth has a Ryan Johnson statue.
Yes, in this universe, Ryan Johnson actually killed George Lucas to become the creative lead on the Star Wars galaxy.
Oh, man. Okay. That's fine. Frank Walker says, Trip doesn't need the beat chair. And Gorilla says, who was sexier, T'Pol or Hoshi? Oh, see, I was wondering what to. Yeah, that's a great question.
Why not both?
We have both. Why do you have to choose?
Exactly.
Yeah, anyway. That works. It's a warp signature. Oh, and yeah, T'Pol's first officer, even though he doesn't want, he has problems with Vulcans. I don't know. Archer.
Oh.
Oh man. I know they picked they try to pick a scary dog, but I love all dogs, so this is still Porthos. And so he's played by a Rottweiler here. While Mayweather is promoted to captain's personal guard.
Sort of filling in for the Sulu. And it's always nice to be able to see Mayweather do stuff because he's so often relegated to the background.
It's true. He definitely needed a whole lot more to do in this series that he didn't get. He had more to do in the pilot.
Yeah.
So Hoshi wants to know about Forrest, that he's still alive. And so she pretends she's all right with becoming the captain's woman for him. But she's got a knife.
True.
I was laughing during this whole scene. I don't know. It was just kind of funny to me.
The juxtaposition for the Prime universe where it's like a mentor situation between Archer and Hoshi, and then for them to be all sexy times, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, but I get what they're going for. And again, just to be able to establish who the evil versions are.
Yeah. No, it is totally weird, but it's a lot better than Deep Space Nine, where they had Prime Universe Cisco do the same thing with the Prime Universe characters, which is more weird and messed up. So this makes more sense.
But never let your guard down when you're the captain of a ship in the mirror universe. Someone's always trying to slide a blade between your ribs.
Yeah, he was ready this time.
Yep.
Franco Walker says T'Pol every time. And Gorilla's Random Thought says, gotta choose one, because most people can't satisfy one person, let alone two. Oh, well, see, I'm not saying that you have to get down with these characters. You just have to say you can enjoy looking at both of them. I'm like talking about aesthetics, not action. I guess we had different ideas of what that question meant. James Caserta says, I had a dream I met Hoshi at a Star Trek convention, and, well, it sounds like a nice time.
Very pleasant.
That would be where I wake up. My brain won't let me have nice dreams, says Franklehawk.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Ervik Saunders says, I'm watching TOS in order for the first time. I'm on season 1, and so far my favorite episode is What Little Girls Are Made Of. And yeah, that's a great episode on artificial intelligence. It's the first time that Kirk talks down artificial intelligence, a computer, so to say. And so that is a good episode. I enjoy it.
Eric, are you doing broadcast or are you doing production order? It's an interesting question that I've never really grappled with until I started doing the reviews on Tuesdays with Jill.
Yeah, me neither. And I was, wait a minute, I didn't skip a chat. I've been reading all the chats because I don't have as many chats today. I did not. That's not true.
Wow. All right then.
False.
Survey says incorrect.
Yeah, I read them all.
Now, oh, right. And we do have.
What is happening? Oh, the
battle.
Enterprise, yeah, drops out of warp, and the Tholian ship has just one Tholian in it. So he's trying to destroy his own ship because he realizes he's going to lose and he doesn't want to be captured, yet he's captured anyway by the transporter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so then the Tholian ship explodes. Then we have now what
more
is this?
Dissections.
What is he dissecting now? Does he have to dissect everything?
In the name of science.
Yeah, and you notice you don't see cages and cages of the little animals living around. No, he just kills everything. Like, why am I going to keep this thing around? I kill it, I learn about it, I throw it away.
Exactly.
Wow. That really does say a lot because it's literally, if you watch any other episode of Enterprise, this room is littered with different species.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also it's fun to see Peter Billingsley again. All these actors are having such a blast doing their evil versions. But as I started watching Enterprise, I was taken by how much I really enjoyed Phlox as a character, and then seeing this was a complete turnaround.
Yeah, it. And Fox definitely has a ton of fun torturing the Stolian, whom we see only his head in the original series episode, so they had to invent the rest of his body for this episode. And I think the Tholian says something about your maternal ancestor, so I'm wondering, was Tholian making some kind of your mama joke? Right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I do like how this is this an extreme heat? They're trying to like crack his exoskeleton, I think. It's really
yes.
And it sounds horrible.
Right. It does sound very painful. And visual effects producer Ronald B. Moore, not D, he was pleased to be able to design the Tholians because he wasn't able to do it for the other episode that had Tholians in Enterprise called Future Tense because they're never seen in the episode. And he wasn't sure about how to do it, but he wanted to remain as close to TOS as possible, imagining what aliens might have been like if the original series had a bigger budget. So that's a beautiful goal.
Yeah.
And I think he succeeded.
An expansion of the existing aesthetics instead of tearing something down and trying to make it slightly different so that it will be yours instead of what we, the fans, would prefer.
Exactly. It's a very simple gesture that means a lot to us.
Yeah. Oh,
Eric
for sure.
Sander says, it seems out of order, but it's whatever Paramount Plus order is. Oh, okay, so then you're getting broadcast, and that's okay. There's no problem with it. It's just some uniforms are going to be out of order for a little while, but then everything evens out after a few episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And watching it in production order just gives you more of the story of how the entirety of Star Trek is made. But TOS can be watched in broadcast order. Totally fine. Ari Bovel says Vulcan abs for the win. Eric Saunders says the Tholian pretty much said, "I effed your mother." Oh, but see, I heard about the maternal ancestor, but the effed part, I missed that part.
I had coital relations with your maternal. Whatever. And that was
Is that what
Gorilla's random
happened?
thoughts. Yes.
Are you sure? Okay. No, it says something about your maternal ancestor. It didn't say what. Gorilla is inserting things. Oh, and Mega Cropper's here. Hello, Mega Cropper.
Hey, Mega Cropper.
Franco says Dr. Fox loves taking things apart.
Yes.
And
Not so
Eric
much on
Saunders.
putting them back together.
Yeah, and Eric Saunders says, yeah, I notice Sahara in gold sometimes. Yeah, that'll stop.
Mm-hmm. Everything will settle into place nicely.
Mm-hmm. So, even though Archer is definitely evil in this universe, there's some hints of his true nature or the way he would be in a different universe because there are several occasions in which someone from this universe would kill prisoners and he just is like, keep them alive, keep them, just knock them out.
Mm-hmm.
And he says it's because he wants to make sure the information is true, but he got the information he wanted, and any other crazy evil person would murder him. So there's that. I love that little hint that Archer is actually supposed to be good, but in this dark universe, he cannot be.
Mm-hmm.
And the Tholian gives it up.
Yep.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, don't forget, in this universe, there's something wrong with the ocular nerves and retinas because everybody needs to be in the dark, if I remember poorly.
Oh no,
it's a Discovery thing. Forget it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to do. Although this episode is a little bit darker, but it's not in the dark. So
right.
You can see what's going on. And Hoshi's face is brightly lit. It's great.
Yes.
Okay. So Archer wants to know where the Tholians took a Terran vessel they captured. So they captured. Of course, we know the vessel they captured already is going to be the Defiant from the Prime Universe. That ends up in the Mirror Universe, but we're not there yet. But anyway, spoiler alert for old episode. Anyway, Archer has commanded the Enterprise, and he wants the cloak ready. He wants the cloak ready to go. But okay, so T'Pol's working with Tucker, and
don't they make some sort of reference? Because at this point in the show, they were sort of an item in the Prime universe. They do make some sort of reference to that here, I think.
Right. Well, in this case, they don't have any kind of romantic affiliation. It's all just raw sex in terms of he helped her during her ponfar, and that was it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So
I would be happy to help T'Pol with her ponfar.
Well, and he calls it a favor, but she said he really enjoyed it. But then, of course, you can't have a Mirror episode without sabotage.
Sabotage.
And so the cloak is, what happens to the cloak exactly? I don't know. It needs to it's not completely destroyed because it can be fixed, but
it still puts a little bit of a monkey in the wrench.
Mm-hmm.
And
there was it was an overload. That was it.
And you get a little bit of wiggle room because it is the Mirror Universe, so you can have cloaking devices, even though that they weren't really presented in the Prime Universe until Balance of Terror. But
Wait, but
This isn't the Prime universe, so everything's fine.
this isn't the Prime universe. The only
Right.
thing that's Prime is the Defiant ship itself.
Mm-hmm.
And Archer wants to find out who sabotaged this cloaking device. Archer wants to search the captain's quarters. Oh yeah, he thinks it's the captain.
It's funny that he has people to be able to investigate. Oh, and then yeah, so it would be
Right.
former Captain Forrest.
Yeah, he gets to beat him up and stuff. Forrest tries to talk him down, saying that he's lacked ambition, so Archer beats him up. I don't know.
They fight. They fight. They fight. They fight. They fight. 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 The Archer and Forrest show.
Mm-hmm. Archer throws him against the bulkhead and leaves. And I guess Reed tells Archer that Tucker was a saboteur, so he gets to spend some time in the agony booth.
Yay!
Yay, agony booth. But he says he's innocent, that he didn't do anything. That he's always been loyal.
But we're still testing out that there agony booth, so it
Right.
works.
It works great. Yeah, and they have a neat little explanation of it, that it hurts you, but it rotates the pain or something, so that it's always new kind of pain.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing. You can't get used to it. It has to be maintained.
Mm-hmm.
They don't call it agony because it's not, it hurts. Hence, anyway, here we go. Some hot, sweaty loving.
Mm-hmm. Oh, James Caserta says, your mother's a car.
My mother is a car.
Gorilla's Random Thought says, wait, I'm Arabic now. I don't know whether to be offended or not now. I don't understand.
Gorilla, you just keep being you, yo.
Mega Cropper said, your dad's a legend. Huh.
That's true. Thank you, Mega.
Pond Bar Buddies, I guess. Yeah, exactly.
Sounds logical.
Darius Munchausen. Hey, hello, Darius.
Hey,
How are things? You got your computer back together? Ari Bavel says, friends with Pompar benefits. Exactly. The AI show. Hello. You spend too much time around Tholians. Ree says, I spent a nice weekend with Bon Armstrong. Sorry.
Vogon Armstrong? Did he recite poetry?
Excuse me, that was a mistake on my part. I was thinking too much about Hitchhikers from last week. I spent a nice weekend with Vaughn Armstrong at a convention in Tulsa several years ago. Great guy. Oh, I imagine.
I've heard nothing but good things about Vaughn Armstrong, and I think he also... Is it Vaughn Armstrong, or is it the gentleman who plays Soval has a band? One of the two, and they at the conventions. I'd love to check it out check him out with the band.
Canadian Spider-Man says, I entered at the right time. Right, because Archer and Hoshi are they clearly just had intercourse.
Yes.
And he wants to make sure Hoshi transmitted some data just to remind us she's still communications officer, and I guess. But also it's an insurance policy for Archer to call the Admiral. And finally, he starts suspecting T'Pol as being the saboteur. And he's correct.
There we go.
Yeah. I should have got a better picture of that. Yeah, the one I got is a little blurry. But I was watching this and taking screenshots at the same time to save time.
No, it's
And
great. It's great. Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. T'Pol rescues Forrester,
Forrest.
and Forrest.
I think so.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
confused.
Okay.
Then he retakes command, but the ship is still set to go where Archer wants, and he says that you can't undo it because I encrypted it, and even I can't do it. And in the initial version of the story, T'Pol was trying to sabotage the cloaking device. And so I guess they changed it a bit to make it more of a diversionary tactic. All right. There's like a ton of stuff like that. In the special features for the DVDs, there's way more information than you could ever want on those DVDs. And I'm not going to get to all of it today. If you ever want to know, your Enterprise Blu-ray discs have, or DVD discs anyway, I'm not sure, have a ton of stuff about this episode.
And I think audio commentaries as well,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm a big fan of on the physical media.
Me too, but it's a special kind of love that a Star Trek fan has when they actually listen to not only listen to the commentary, but then go into the user-generated websites and plug in the stuff that they learned from the audio commentary into the internet. Because not every episode has all this information.
What was it? I was walking around the other day and I was thinking to myself, as I tend to do, and it was like back in the day, you'd buy a DVD and it would have all the special features, the behind the scenes making, it would have the audio commentary. It was almost like buying a website. You just get it on a disc and it would be all the information that you would need.
That was pretty amazing back then.
Well, and also when the release of these audio commentaries is sort of like the heyday of Blu-ray and DVD, and it's an honest assessment of making this instead of the sort of sugared or watered down, sugar coated. Everything's lovely. It's all about family. We got together and it was a passion project, and we played. Like sometimes they'll just talk about, oh yeah, this is kind of weird. I don't like this aspect, and even with Mr. Billingsley here as Phlox, he says he wasn't a huge fan of this episode just because it was a little. No, and not that he disliked it. He just thought it was a little. It was all effect and it was all special effect and no real story or heart. But I like it because it's it takes us out of our regular sandbox and gets to see these characters sort of play a different facet, and I find it fascinating.
Well, I think it had plenty of story. It's all about Archer trying to take command and become the Emperor. So I think there's plenty of story, but I agree with him there's no heart, but that's the point.
Yeah. Well, it's still better than Bem.
Is this episode better than Bem? Yeah.
Yes.
But I still don't hate Bem too much. At least at the end he was like, okay, I was a dick. I'm sorry.
Yes. He did kind of learn.
Dalek451 says, oh, here's some nice news. Today is my parents' wedding anniversary.
Well, happy anniversary to them, Dalek. Congrats.
Yeah, happy anniversary to your parents. That's lovely. Good news. It's always good to hear good news. We always hear about bad news. Hey, have fun being me for a day to Gorilla. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Gorilla, if I accidentally referred to you as Arabic, but y'all are both great, so y'all can exchange every once in a while. Whenever I make the mistake. I won't do it on purpose. Oh, hello to Mr. CCDV. Great.
Hey.
To see you. T'Pol in a crop top. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great, of course. They do little homages, of course, to the original Mirror Mirror episode, but nothing too over the top. It's just right. And the AI show says, I guess you could say Archer was transmitting data to Hoshi in his cabin. Maybe that's what they call it in the future. Oh, dear. Cinema Gulp. Hey, Ben.
Hey.
Goof afternoon, Jill and Scotty. I love this episode. Soto was hot. I had a huge crush on Linda Park. Sorry, just thinking out loud. Hey, no, I'll send you a link. I didn't know you loved this episode. You're not obligated to come on or anything, but I'm gonna send it anyway, just in case.
I like how that is the consistent theme of both episodes. It's like, which one is hotter, Hoshi or T'Pol?
Well, okay. Do I have to?
Choose?
No, I don't have to choose. Y'all have to choose.
No. Oh, are you gonna make a poll?
Yeah, but how should I word it? This is a silly poll.
It is. Which Mirror Universe crew member is the most attractive?
Yeah, that's nice. The real answer is Ahura, but she's not here.
True. And Dadman Walking 55 is here. Howdy. Oh, my stars. Are we still dealing with this? Canadian Spider-Man says, great morning here at James Caserta, except for the forest fire smoke from up north. I can't, I'm just surprised that it's still going on.
Oh no, I don't mean to laugh at Canada being on fire. I was just laughing at making the poll. I'm so sorry.
Okay. No, that's quite all right. I will take your joy in the burning of anyway. Matt G says, in the chamber, you watch Discovery. Yes, that's why it's so painful. And Matt G goes on to say, them, the 50s movie? Laugh out loud. I missed something. Not them, Bem, B-E-M, from the animated series.
Bem. He's the colony creature. He okay, so he's the character in the animated series who could take off bits of his body and they could float around and do all sorts of things. It's actually an interesting concept, but the episode was strangely structured.
Yes. Ari Bavel says, the Bem bar. But is it better than Bem? Yes. See, and that's for some reason that has become the low point for the 735 as far as I was concerned.
I didn't think it was that bad.
I know. It's better than Lazarus.
No, it's not. I think okay, so that's where you and I differ. Lazarus is worse than Bem for me.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Bem is better than Lazarus.
Okay, good. Okay, then we don't disagree. Never mind.
Right. The AI show says all special effects and no heart. In other words, a sci-fi channel movie. Yes, this is the Sharknado of Enterprise, according to John Billingsley.
I meant Goof? No, I thought you did mean Goof. I said Goof. Darius Munchausen says Hoshi has been smoking hot since day one. Okay, so since that was a question, it is now a poll, and it has 10 votes so far. 50-50.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go over there and check it out.
Darius says, I didn't even notice Jolene Blaylock was hot until my friend pointed it out. Then I looked her up on Google, confirmed hot. Beam Me Up has a new meaning for and Canadian Spider-Man says, it just started getting smoky here, Scotty. We've been doing pretty good in BC in general this year as far as fires go.
Well,
it's going to blow away to Colorado soon. How about T'Pol and Hoshi? That's what Scotty was saying. You don't have to discard one or the other.
I am looking forward to seeing the results of this poll.
And the poll. Okay, and with that pun, Archer had to be in the agony booth for 10 hours, and Fox is impressed by how much pain he can endure. And the only reason that Forrest releases him is because of Admiral Gardner. So that's the insurance that Archer called out for. He was intrigued by the data that Archer sent to him. that that they need to look for this Earth ship, this Earth ship that they found, which of course is the Defiant. I don't want to be cryptic when we don't need to.
Right.
So they have a meeting about the possibility of alternate realities. The Vulcans say they don't exist, and Tholians are more open-minded, apparently. Okay, so then it says.
Well,
He
this is our
continues. Yeah, this is the explanation. Do you want to?
Oh, the explosion created an interphasic rift, a doorway into another universe. A doorway.
A
That rift
parallel
was
universe.
unstable. It's basically a recap of the Tholian web, which is great. It was too dangerous to send one of their own ships through. So they transmitted a distress call into the opening.
Oh.
And their plan worked brilliantly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
and they so what?
Well, they're under the impression that sending the Defiant back was on purpose.
Well, that I guess so. That was the Tholians. That's why the Defiant was lost, as they sent him. I suppose so.
Well, I'm just wondering if they're actually getting it wrong on purpose, because as you remember from the Tholian web, it's an unstable part of interphasic space where the Enterprise does get captured by the Tholian web,
Right.
and the Defiant as well. The Defiant's there first, I think.
And the Defiant is lost.
Yes.
So this episode is saying that's where the Defiant ends up, is
Yes.
lured from the other side into the mirror universe by the Tholians.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is kind of clever.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Works
And
for
again,
me.
just tying it back into a classic episode.
Dude, where are we in the chat? Oh, hello to Dead Man Walking. How are you?
Hey, Dead
So,
Man.
you guys, Dead Man Walking is going to be doing a 24-hour Fortnite gaming stream. So, in the next 20, like, I don't know when it starts. I think in about an hour.
Oh, nice.
Or less than an hour. And so, within the next 24 hours, if you want to say hello to Dead Man live on air, you get to do so.
Rock and roll.
Cinema Gulp says to Paul and Doctor's Orders takes the win. But overall, I go with Soto. And Gorilla's Random Thought says, Scotty, do you do your Canadian duty and get your ass out of there and fight the fires, Chuck Norris style?
That is, see, there's a compliment. Thank you for equating me with a Chuck Norris style firefighter. I will do my best after we're done talking about Amir Darkly.
Yeah, if you run into any fires, put them out.
Just good advice all around. Unless you're at a campfire, in which case you're probably annoying everyone who's trying to make s'mores.
That's true too. Sprinkle Walker says, "Oh, go
I'll
ahead."
be back in a sec.
Oh, okay, great.
Thank you.
And so the ship, the Defiant, is 100 years into the future, because of course it is from that episode. So the ship was not only thrown into the mirror universe, but also back in time 100 years. So that's interesting. Too bad Captain Finity couldn't be here. I think he wanted to be here, but he was he probably fell asleep. And Franco Walker says, "Oh, to be the filling in a Hoshi to Paul sandwich." Sigh. Herc 130 says, "It is 3 times funnier hearing Jill read double entendres." Darius Munchausen says, "You know that meme where a supermodel is shown next to a random fast food employee?" And the employee is much more attractive. And Franco Walker says, sorry, I forgot how to spell. I was distracted for some reason. Darius says, it do be like that sometimes. That's how I feel about T'Pol and Hoshi. And T'Pol has a bony thorax. Need cheeseburger. Oh. Okay. So Tucker's working on the cloak, and he's distracted by T'Pol. He's angry at her because he thinks she falsified evidence to get him in trouble, which she did. And she explains how she did it. She seduced him away from engineering and used a mind meld to sabotage the cloak, to suggest to him to sabotage the cloak. And so she made him sabotage. So he doesn't. And then she used another mind meld to make him forget. Because she said she was doing her duty to help Forrest get command again. And Tucker says, you'll regret this or something. Yeah, you're going to regret what you did. And he calls the bridge. The cloak is ready. Wow, he did that pretty quick. 6 days have passed already. That's the thing about Star Trek. I never know how much time is passing at any given moment. And that goes on all the time, so I accept it. T'Pol dismisses Tucker threatening her. She says threats are illogical. And so the reason I mention this is these are the same words taken from A Journey to Babel. In that episode, Sarek says them. Threats are illogical, and payment is usually expensive. And he says this after Tellarite Ambassador Gad threatens Sarek that he will pay. And so T'Pol goes to the bridge. Oh yeah, the cloak. Look at the cloak. Yeah, I didn't even know I got that clip. It happened so quickly. That's nice.
Hey, the cloak works.
Yeah, the cloak works. Isn't that I didn't even realize I got the screen cap. So the AI show says mind meld foreplay. Yeah, well, cutting to Paul, yeah, she used mind melds. I didn't realize you can use mind melds to alter memory, but T'Pol does it. Time is an illusion, lunchtime doubly so.
Precisely.
She can mind meld me anytime, says Franco.
I agree, Franco. And we have reached the coordinates.
Yeah, the Vintok system. And this is a gas giant. Beautiful ring planet. And there's a ship.
Is.
There's that ship.
She is.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a nice.
There she is.
Thank you so much. I forgot that you had that clip. But it's a nice sort of ramping up and escalation of the two-part stories. It's not just a mirror universe episode. It's also a pseudo sequel to the Tholian Web.
Yeah. And it's a sequel to that, while the people, of course, in the mirror universe are sort of a prequel to the mirror episode. So it's kind of both. And the Defiant ended up in this story after Mike Sussman spent years wondering about the ship's destiny. And after it disappears in the Tholian web. And they wanted to put it in future tense, which also has the Tholians, but it didn't work out for that. And the effects apparently were too difficult. So when Manny Coto wanted a mirror episode, Mike Sussman realized that the Defiant could be in it, having not only been pulled into the past, but also into the mirror universe. So this frees the writers from any continuity concerns, as they can do anything they want in the mirror universe without violating canon. And that is lovely that that was on their minds. I love all of these people. Mark Harkness says Tucker remembered her fingers probing. Then they moved up to his face to begin the meld. And I read that. Franco Walker says, here's a bit of advice for everyone. Don't drink half a pint of Irish cream in the afternoon. It messes with your eyesight and spelling. Ooh.
Fair enough.
What kind of Irish cream do you have? I've only ever had Bailey's.
I think it's the most popular. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the most popular one, but I wonder if anybody drinks any other kind.
I've had another kind, but I forget the name of the brand.
Eric Saunders says, did you know that all the planets after Mars have rings? I didn't know this until I took astronomy in college. Jupiter, Saturn. Jupiter, I didn't think Jupiter had a ring, but I'm not doubting it. Because Jupiter has a bunch of moons, but it might be a very thin ring. Faint. Yeah, it has faint planetary rings. But I did know Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune had rings. I just didn't. Yes. I didn't realize Jupiter did. So that's great.
So all those Jovian planets are married.
The Jovian rings were the third ring system to be discovered after Saturn and Uranus, because those are more obvious. That makes sense. The main ring was discovered by the Voyager 1 space probe. And the system was more investigated by the Galileo orbiter. Wow, nice tangent. James Caserta says, I took space in college. I took up... Oh, no, wait. He says, I took up space in college.
Story checks out.
Here's a bit of advice for everyone. Okay, we already read that about the cream. Yeah, no, right. Day drinking doesn't work for me because I have to be able to drive at any possible moment.
Oh, always on duty?
Yeah. Well, yeah, being a mother, only one person can drink at a time, really.
Fair enough. It's good to have a buddy system.
Mm-hmm. When I took astronomy in college, they hadn't discovered that yet. And Canadian Spider-Man says, Caroline's is pretty good and cheaper than Bailey. Caroline's. I've never tried it. I like Mapology.
Mapiology?
Mapiology. Spaceology. What?
All these
astronomy? Jillology. What is happening in the chat? I don't understand.
It's the study of Jill.
Franco Walker says this is... Oh, wait, what is this?
Dundalgan Country Cream. A smooth blend of white wine, Irish spirit, and fresh cream. According to the bottle, 12%.
Oh, hey, so it's already mixed up for you. That sounds fun. There's a planet that a few light years away that has rings 200 times bigger than Saturn's.
Wow.
But then I imagined that the planet itself is also larger by comparison. That's great news. Thank you, Gorilla.
Mapiology?
Oh, sorry. Mapiology. Oh, there's a bigger one.
That's great.
The AI show says, I don't recall that specifically in my college astronomy class. Just black holes, Einstein's grand unified theory, and Richard Feynman. Richard Feynman's so cool. He plays the drums. Yes, not kidding.
I believe you. I was just tickled by your excitement.
It is. No, he did some fun stuff. He also spent his time going around campus trying to get into locked buildings, and he like picking locks was one of his favorite pastimes. I like Richard Feynman.
And they're are they preparing to head aboard?
Yeah, they're getting ready to go to the Defiant ship because we just saw it. We just got excited by the ship, so we got to go check it out. And
Wow.
Forrest, he wants them to just rip it apart and destroy it. Of course, Archer has different plans. Forrest also wants T'Pol to kill Archer. So wait, why do they go on in suits? I don't remember. Because they're actually smart.
Yeah. I think it says that the life support is down on the ship.
Oh, okay. The life support's powered down. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
And it looks like Ben from Cinema Gulp is taking off. So have a great day, Ben.
Oh, okay. He says, gotta go, but I'll catch the rest later today. See you on the YouTubes. See you later, Ben. Thank you for stopping by in the chat.
And I think there's another installment of Cinema Gulp's Best of the First coming out soon, where Cinema Gulp's going to be covering Christopher Nolan's first feature, Following. So you can keep an eye out for that over on Cinema Gulp's channel.
That's really cool. The idea of going through the history of a director.
Yeah.
That's fun. And Canadian Spider-Man says, is there a course in college where I can study Starfleet starships?
I'm curious. Do you think there is, Jill?
Not at my school. They had a Lord of the Rings class, but not a Star Trek class.
Weird.
Yeah, I never took it, though.
No, but there are Tolkien scholars. So there are people who actually do dedicate a lot of their academia.
I would think if you had something like that, it would be science fiction class in general.
And then just you'd have different franchises for different sort of course loads.
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't really go to an art school. I went to like a regular school. Richard Feynman is on the bongos is great. Yeah, he is. And the AI show says, I agree. I enjoyed watching videos of Feynman in class. I even look at interviews of him on YouTube. Yeah, me too. He's great. And Ari Bavell says, I gotta go. My 2 o'clock stream is about to start. Wait, what? Do you have a channel, Ari?
Don't forget to subscribe to Ari.
What? I didn't know you had it. Wait a second. Let me check something. No, he doesn't have live streams. I don't know what. Okay. Oh, it's probably on another channel or something. Okay. Have a good day, Ari. Have fun. Have a good Friday. Star Trek University. Oh yeah, you know what? There is a place where there is a Starfleet Academy, a real life Starfleet Academy you can attend. I don't know how to do it, but it's online somewhere.
Oh, cool.
There's courses and everything. Your broadcast is dropping frames for me. Catch you later. Oh, okay. See you later, Edge of Time.
See you, Edge.
No. Am I losing internet? Let me see what's going on here with my internet. Make sure it's fine. Okay, so I don't need Wi-Fi, but I'm going to activate it just in case as a backup. An insurance policy. Just in case I am being lost for some people.
But thank you for the feedback so we can try and correct.
Yes, thank you. Eric Sander says, at my school, we had a Star Trek course. The main reading was Memory Alpha. Well, that was back. It was probably before it got littered with the filth. And Ari Bavel says, no, it's not my stream. Another tuber has a weekly at 2 o'clock Friday. Yeah, okay, great.
Have a great one.
Yeah, have a good time. And there are a lot of people who stream on Friday because hopefully in about an hour you'll be able to catch Bird of Prey 5 on his bed life. I don't know if he has bed life today. Hopefully he does. Let me see. This is Friday. Oh, oh, he started early actually. Okay, that's cool. He probably has an early day. Thank you. And so we're going through this. Where are we in this episode? They're on the.
We just beamed over to the Defiant, and they're sort of taking a look around.
They're
Assessing
finding.
what.
They're finding that Tholians have taken some stuff.
Well, it is futuristic technology. You would want to sort of scavenge. And apparently, in terms of the production, when they were set dressing with the dead people, that is where they were on the in the Tholian web. And then also, uh, there is the assumption that the 23rd century uniforms that they use in this episode are probably from Trials and Tribulations. They do have the Defiant insignia on the uniform breast, but you can, and I just noticed it with the gentleman who was lying dead. You can still see where the Enterprise Delta would have been because they obviously removed it and traded it out. So you can see the top of the point there.
Yeah, I do. I did appreciate that they used the right badge.
Yeah. Well, and
Poor
that's
guy.
I'm
That looks painful.
yeah, yes. But they all, I think they all go insane. That's what happens in the Tholian web with the interface space. Yeah. They go crazy.
Yeah. And so Archer is very happy to get this weapon. So this is the first appearance of a phaser pistol in the Enterprise series. And
Classic Type 2.
Yeah, the prop was an off-the-shelf toy manufactured by Art Asylum, modified with a strip of Velcro to allow it to adhere to Scott Bakula's trousers.
I have a phaser and I haven't modified it to have the Velcro on it. I should.
Yeah, then you can adhere it to your trousers.
To my trousers, yes.
So the sedative stopped working on the Tholian, so now Forrest wants Phlox to just kill the Tholian, so Fox is very happy to do so.
More dissecting, yay!
Yeah. Well,
it's
no,
important to be no.
because what do you dissect when this thing? Will you kindly die? Oh, maybe that's why he's so mad that the Tholian takes so long to die and only dies once it gets exploded into so many parts, and it's much more difficult to dissect something when it's in a million pieces.
And exploded.
And so they get on the bridge of the Defiant, which looks a lot like the Enterprise bridge, a little bit different. Too much.
And this is one of the I guess updates, but it still works because it is still a Tholian web, but it goes much, much faster than they did in the 23rd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so the Tholian web traps the Enterprise. ISS Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
And Tucker restores power to the Defiant, so T'Pol can check out what's going on the Enterprise. This is action heavy part of the episode, so I'm not as good at describing action stuff. I should have ordered Scotty to do it, but
I apologize.
No, you can't apologize. You can't apologize for something I didn't ask you to do.
No, but I know that you get excited for it because you did have a blast with the description of the fight scene from Trouble with Tribbles. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
I should have prepared.
Yeah. Well, you didn't know. I didn't ask.
Thank
you. Okay, so Defiant's weapon systems are brought online now. So the ship is just progressively getting more alive. And the Enterprise is trying to escape in escape pods, but the escape pods are destroyed. And Forrest tries to hold on to the helm, and and
we are, reviving.
yeah,
Now,
reviving the
with
Defiant.
that bridge set, this is the first time that I think 3/4 of Constitution class set had been built on the Paramount lot since 1969. They had recreated a portion of it for Relics and for Trials and Tribulations, but this was the first time it was a full set since the original series, which it looks great.
Oh right, in Relics they only recreated the helm station with the.
I think it was like they did the door, the captain's chair, and as you said, the helm, and then they just used CGI around it. And oh, those poor crewmen.
Yeah. Oh, those are the escape pods that didn't make it.
Yeah.
And
there we go. Season 4 sees the demise of Admiral Forrest twice.
yeah. Oh, and Mira Porthos.
Oh, and Mira Porthos. Poor Porthos.
And so that's the first episode. Good stuff.
I enjoyed it,
more.
yeah.
Yeah, he did. He was working on it. He did a good job. Michael Okuda too. Michael Westmore, of course. People names we recognize. Who do a great job on Star Trek, and all these other wonderful people who I don't know too much about, and I wish I did more. No more. They're great.
Previously on Enterprise.
I'm not sure why I picked up the previously because, well, maybe for that reason.
Well, and that's the thing. Like when we go back to good Star Trek, classic Star Trek, the 735, because it is primarily episodic in nature, you don't get a lot of them last time. Or you would get the last time on Star Trek to sort of keep you up to date. Whereas, do they have like last time on Star Trek in the filth? Because it's all just so serialized.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Okay.
I think every episode has it. Except I don't think Lower Decks does.
No, I don't think so either. It's been a while since I've seen Lower Decks.
Me too. Lord of the Rings class never had such courses when I was in college. It would have been nice to take Star Trek 101 and Star Wars 203 instead of English history poli-sci. Oh well. Yeah, I think you have to have the basics, and something like a Star Trek class would be extracurricular.
Like back in my day, if you wanted to take a Star Trek class, you would skip school and stay home and watch Star Trek. That's how we did it.
That's how you did it. Franka Walker says, when I was at school, the internet didn't exist. Neither did PCs as we know them. Aravic Saunders says, my phaser has a belt clip, although I've been looking for a holster.
Huh. I'm very happy with my Type 2 phaser that has the Type 1 eject out of the top of it. It's great. Mark Harkness says, we got to change it because that old look just won't stand up today. Nonsense. I agree.
Yeah, and this episode, In a Mirror Darkly and Trials and Tribulations, proves that you don't have to update it.
Well, and it's just so strange when you do have a scene in Trials and Tribulations where you have Jadzia basically fawning over the classic technology. And as showrunners moving forward, they were like, remember how we had this aesthetic that even was commented on in the show? Let's change that. Really? That's your plan. Okay. All right.
James Caserta says, I need a retro series or a second 5-year mission with an older Kirk.
My personal preference, and I've said it before, I think that having the prequel series of Enterprise is more interesting than people give it credit for. As people have said, it took a little bit of time to warm up to it, but I like the sort of early days of the coming together of the Federation and sort of exploring the prejudices that you would get between alien races and how it does sort of leapfrog and evolve into the cooperation and spirit of friendship that the Federation presents later on. And so, if it is a little rocky and not quite up to 23rd century or 24th century Federation, I understand, but it's also part of the growth of the human race.
And that's the
All of
fun
the
of this
races.
episode is that it kind of plays with that the idea of the Federation of Planets working together for a common goal versus the mirror universe where it's just the a Terran empire overtaking all of these different species and treating them as lesser than through force of power.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
what
and then
what those oppressed races will do when they learn about the fact that they could have something like the Federation.
and that's the closest we get to sort of any tip of the hat to Kirk's sort of negotiation with Mirror Spock in Mirror is Kirk says, one man with a vision can change history. And Spock is like, I will consider it. But here they look into the computer logs and I think even Hoshi says we have to delete this so no one will find out that there is a way to be cooperative and pleasant to one another.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the and then Archer does decide that at the end. Yeah, of course. And so they continue to bring everything back online and they notice some escape pods that made it from the ship. Who was on those escape pods? I'm not sure.
I forget.
Defiant is continuing on impulse power, talking to Dr. Flox and Hoshi. That happened. Ooh. What's this?
And this is the Defiant breaking away.
Oh, this is a Defiant getting away from the Tholian ship, and in the process of doing this, they destroy 3 of the Tholian ships.
Does the Constitution class have aft photon torpedoes?
Oh, that's here apparently. Mm-hmm. Escape.
Makes sense.
Well, they escape somehow. Look at the Defiant. It is escaping somehow.
Somehow. It has been
If you
freed.
you need another channel if you need the precise description of what's happening.
I'm just waiting to see Archer in his in the command wraparound.
Mm-hmm.
And we get Gary Graham as Soval. Great.
Yeah, Gary Graham. He's great. He's
Mhm.
he's also in the band The Sons of Kirk.
Maybe it wasn't Vaughn Armstrong. Maybe it was Gary Graham that I was
Well, I don't know.
thinking
There
of
are
earlier.
actually I wasn't questioning you because I don't know for sure since a lot of Star Trek actors also are musicians.
Mm-hmm.
And so you never know when you're going to see a Star Trek actor who can pick up a guitar or sing a song. And so until I verify it one way or another, I don't know that Vaughn did or didn't do anything with music.
Oh, Captain Finity is here. Ahoy, sir.
Oh, hello, Captain Finity. We just started the 2nd episode. Um. And they realize they're not ready for battle, but Archer wants to go into battle anyway to fight the rebels. And T'Pol's, of course, logically states that the ship must have 400 people to man it, but there are only 47 people here. Archer's like, no.
There's no time.
But it's a bit of lamb shading, but it's good. I love it. And so T'Pol pledges her loyalty to Captain Archer since her captain is dead. But he threatens her a bit.
There it is.
And look, yeah, it's Captain Archer in the uniform. It's great. The green tunic.
Some Aldebaran whiskey over there on the bureau.
It is green.
It is green.
Yes, that might just be cool. This is AI show. Enterprise, Black Mirror Universe, coming soon.
Ugh.
And good morning to Captain Finley.
Yeah. Morning.
Yeah, so they spend this scene looking into the history of their Prime Universe counterparts.
Well, and I do appreciate that this is sort of a twist that is introduced is the what do you call it? The insecurity that Archer has about comparing himself to his, in this case, mirror universe counterpart, and kind of messes with his noggin a bit.
Yes, apparently Archer is held as a highly successful officer in terms of becoming a great explorer, even though, of course, Captain Kirk doesn't really ever mention him. But that's okay.
Well, there's not unless there's a direct meeting between Kirk and other ships. He doesn't really talk about other members of the fleet.
Yeah, that's true. That's fine.
And not a lot of historical stuff either. Like, even I think that was one of the mandates that Gene put forth in The Next Generation, is that we're not going to go around talking about the original series all the time. It's not our jam.
Yeah, and that's why it's good that we have the Defiant here rather than the Enterprise or the crew or anything like that. So that was a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
It worked with Tribbles because they were in an original series episode.
The greatest explorer of the 22nd century. Not you, though. Not you, Jonathan.
Oh, and I think this episode is the last time we get to hear Majel Barrett in a real Star Trek production.
Ooh.
And of course, we do hear her in 2009.
Yes.
As her official last time we hear. But
every time we bring up that I'm curious, because I know that Majel Barrett, or they got a synthesized recreation of her voice, but I've never seen it implemented or used anywhere. The last time that I did hear Majel Barrett's voice was probably in Picard season 3 at the end.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't. I'm glad they don't do that. It would be kind of weird. I don't know.
But they've done that.
I don't know really how I feel about it.
Well, and it is strange. It's an interesting conversation because with recreations, I know in the new Flash movie they did like a CGI recreation of Christopher Reeve and George Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
Passed away people. I don't know if I appreciate that.
I don't know. I don't really like it too much myself when they do it. But the only time I did like it was in Ghostbusters Afterlife because he was also dead in the movie. So he was dead in real life and dead in the movie. So it was.
But that's also
it's a little different, and he never speaks.
Well, he never speaks, and also there's a little bit. I think that there's a little bit more reverence to it, just because you do have Jason Reitman, son of director Ivan Reitman, who was the director of the original Ghostbusters. So it just feels more of a family affair. Maybe I'm being a little too wistful, but it just seems like that there's a little bit more heart. But if you like, well, I still remember watching The Last Jedi and seeing, and everybody had known that Carrie Fisher had passed away, and then she gets blown out of the spaceship by, Kylo Ren's buddies or whatever. And it's like, okay, so that's how Carrie Fisher will pass away in this film. that way. And then she comes back. She Mary Poppins back into the ship. And I'm like, but we all know she's dead. You are playing with this woman like a puppet.
Yeah, they did.
I was not a fan.
No, a lot of people weren't. Yeah, that was another instance of that happening. And there's a plasma regulator that's missing. So Ensign Kelby is sent to look for it, but there's a creature and it takes him. He's gone.
Mm-hmm. Reptilian saliva in the ensign's wounds. I wonder who could it be?
And so they're stuck at Impulse without the plasma regulators. And T'Pol says, I don't know, what does she say? That the saboteur was well acquainted with the ship's systems. So indicating, of course, that the Gorn is intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but before...
be merciful. I like how everybody's getting into the... Let's steal these people's clothes.
Yeah, right. Why not? There's some clothes here. And of course, T'Pol looks great in a TOS uniform.
Of course.
And so they interrogate this blue-skinned alien. I don't know. What kind of alien is this? I don't even know. He's afraid of the reptile. But eventually, he's coerced to reveal that his master is named Slar, and he's a Gorn. So during Archer's first contact with Slar, the Gorn speaks in growls and snarls that are converted into a male English computer voice, likely via a universal translator hidden in the communicator that Slar holds during the scene. And this complication in communication was intentional on Mike Sussman's part. We do get to that scene later.
There we go. This is the hallucination.
This is a hallucination?
Man. No, when you see Archer in his Prime Universe uniform, that is sort of a mocking insecurity hallucination that Mirror Archer is having.
Oh, right. And he listens to this. He listens to his... Is this supposed to be like Archer from the Prime Universe? Because it's kind of weird.
I think so. I think that because of, the Mirror Universe people being evil and crazy anyway, is that when confronted with the fact that Mirror Archer has a Prime Archer and Mirror Archer is not even close to living up to Prime Archer, that he starts getting doubts and insecurities and being nagged by a more successful version of himself that he will never be, which I thought was an interesting twist as opposed to just continuing with the chewing of scenery.
Yeah, I think so. Then that happens after he learns about him. So, but he's definitely willing to listen to anything that his hallucination tells him. And he's able to talk to the Gorn, but he's not able to convince him to give up the plasma regulator, obviously. So they got to go after him. And then there's his double again.
Mm-hmm.
He says, defeating Slar will finally earn him the respect he deserves. The AI show says...
what's better than one Captain Archer?
2 Captain Archers?
Yep, that's right.
The AI show says a number of members of SAG-AFTRA likely agree with you on that point, to Franco. What's his point? I think it's disrespectful when they use dead actors' voices and likenesses and things. James Caserta says the blue alien is a Kelpian.
Don't let it scream. See, it's funny though, because with the people who have passed on specifically in Star Trek, there's The Legend of Vulcan Fury.
Mhm.
It was a video game that was in development from Interplay, and they got the recordings of all of the original actors before DeForest Kelly and Jimmy Doohan passed away, and Michelle Nichols, of course. But this would have been in their early to mid 90s. And so there is audio recordings from that production. And I would be intrigued to have the existing script that the actors did participate in, just repurpose it for like an animated film, or even if you wanted to finish production on the game, that would be really cool. But in terms of recreating voices or likenesses without the permission of the original actors, yeah, I think it is pretty. It's almost like grave robbing. It's kind of how I felt about Peter Cushing in Rogue One.
Oh yeah, that didn't look good. Not at all. An overgrown Smurf, says Captain Kennedy. Yeah. And Darius Munchausen says, "Oh no, no, no," to James Caserta. Not yet. Huh? Oh. Oh, right, about the Kelpian. Yeah, no, that's so funny though. Why not? They don't tell me who he is, so fine. And the Comic Relief Crusader is here. He says, "Hey, all guys.
Hey, hey.
And if you haven't got an on equity card, you can't act in anything, TV, film, or theater." I don't even know what that is. An equity
Oh, yeah.
card. What is that? Equity
It's an
is the
actor thing.
theater union. Oh, it's a union thing. Okay. Oh. Hey, hey.
Hey, hey.
So we get our Gorn. The Gorn blows up a bunch of people with its communication device that it modified, and it drops in on Archer, and we get a little fight. And there's there's the Gorn.
Yep.
He looks like a dinosaur.
He does look like a dinosaur, but I do, again, yeah, he's standing upright. And so I'm glad that it's not xenomorphic.
Yeah, he's not a xenomorph. He's a bipedal reptile with a brain that is comparable to our own. And Archer dispatches him using the grav plating. So
It's just
that's
so
fun.
nice to see. Just so nice to see the classic communicators and phasers and the interiors. It's great.
Oh wait, what G's? How many G's was it that he's enduring? Grav plating. I think it's 20 G's, but I didn't catch it. 20 G's. Ooh. Oh, it's a captain's log. Here it is.
Ooh.
I haven't had one in a while. Where am I? I lost. Here it is.
Yep. Defiant Star Log, January 18th, 2155. We've recovered the missing engine components, and I've ordered a course to rendezvous with the assault fleet.
Oh, great. Okay, so now they're getting into the bigger drama of the Mirror Universe, dealing with the Rebel fleet and the assault fleet. All right. And the Comic Relief Crusader says, "Mini Godzilla."
True.
James Caserta says, "I'm living under protest." I'm glad you are living, James Caserta.
Me too.
And still better than, yeah, yeah, and that's what Scotty just said. At least it's not a xenomorph. Still better than SNW, of course.
Still dropping in to watch some SNW. Some of it's okay.
I cannot corroborate that as I have not seen it. I doubt it, but I'm glad you're seeing something that isn't terrible if it's not terrible. which I cannot
Like,
confirm.
even if you're comparing within the filth, like the lowest bar you could possibly get, like every disco episode sucks. Like, it's just terrible.
Right.
I am not a fan. So I'm glad that they rolled out um, Filth Trek with the absolute bottom of the barrel.
Oh, and the ship can go to warp now, apparently. So here we are.
Yes, because they got
going to
the
warp.
components. Yeah.
Okay, right. Right, from the Gorn. And they killed him and got the components. Okay, great. And so Paul and Phlox sit together in the officers' lounge. And he's been reading a bunch. And so, as you said earlier, that only Shakespeare is similar in both universes. And T'Pol talks about the Federation of Planets, equality, but Phlox is afraid that the crew that this kind of talk is dangerous. But he's still listening. He's not reporting to anybody, so that shows that he's interested in helping out.
Mm-hmm. There it is. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that maintained.
Yeah. James Caserta says, Jill, DC wants you to do a Strange New World review. I know. He after I told him I wasn't watching it, he said, don't worry about it. I don't want you to suffer. But I've thought about it. I'm going to try. If I have any time, I don't have time right now, but when I have time, I am going to watch it and see if I can come up with what I'm thinking is maybe I'll do like 1 minute reviews because there's not a whole lot of time to use up on his show. So I'll work on it. There's no promises that I'll actually succeed. So I did get the memo, James Caserta. I'll see if I can.
Which episodes are you thinking?
Well, no, I'm gonna watch them all and make 1 minute reviews. Just 1 minute of what this was.
Cool,
just like real quick things. Anyway, because I know I'm not gonna like it anyway. But we'll see. I don't know. The Comic Relief Crusader says latest episode mentioned gravitational radiation. What?
I haven't seen the latest one. Is that the one that Amanda comes back?
Amanda? Who's Amanda?
Like Spock's mom?
Spock's mom. Oh, Spock's
Amanda
mom. That Amanda.
T'Pring. Yeah. I haven't seen that one. I don't need to see T'Pring. Spock never saw T'Pring before Amok Time.
That's right.
They
That's
were
right. That's why.
in his youth.
Because if he had, then that makes it really creepy later on when he's looking at a picture of her when she was 7.
Yeah. I never even thought of that. Here's a picture of my fiance. I only have this picture. I have met her recently. I prefer to remember her this way. All right, weird. Very strange.
Yeah, so it's stupid. The Comic Relief Crusader. Yep, so laughable. Yeah, well. So anyway, the Avenger is going to show up pretty soon. The ISS Avenger.
Well, and why in the name of Sweet Georgia Brown have they not reintroduced denobulins into the filth? Get us some denobulins. There we go.
You're going to watch it anyway. You want some variety.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's Gary Graham with the beard. Yay.
Yeah. Soval.
Well.
And we get our classic Vulcan goatee.
Mm-hmm. And I always wanted an Andorian on the bridge, but we don't get too much of it. So we get Admiral Black, who is receiving some help from the Defiant. It dispatches some of the rebel ships, even though T'Pol tries to keep Archer from destroying a Vulcan ship. But he only leaves an Andorian ship to go back and warn the rebels of his awesomeness.
And a Vulcan ship. Boom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bye-bye Vulcan ship. Now so that other ship here is the Avenger. ISS Avenger.
Nice.
You smell the strong women, weak men vibes in this episode.
In this one?
And no, not in this episode. I think he's still talking about Strange New Worlds because this episode has this episode has strong women, but they're allowed to fail and they're allowed to mess up, and they're strong, but they can they're yeah, it's a little different. So
Well, it is.
I'm pretty sure he's not talking about this episode.
It's an interesting exploration of the fragmented psyche of Jonathan Archer, evil Jonathan Archer.
Mm-hmm. And Admiral Black is really impressed with everything Archer has done. AI show says Shakespeare was apparently a TV show. He enjoyed absenting in Felicity a while. Sorry, Jill. I'm not trying to take away from the episode you're reviewing. No, that's okay. If you just watch something terrible and you want to vent about it, I can understand the need to do so. But since I didn't watch it, I can't commiserate with you. Unfortunately, I guess maybe I need to watch it just so I can be part of the conversation when there is a conversation to be had.
I don't think you really should. We've had this conversation before. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch it.
Yeah, but if my friends are talking about it, I want to talk to them. I don't want to necessarily see something I don't like, but you know what I mean.
But then entering into those conversations, it can get very terrifying as well. Because what if, heaven forbid, gasp, you might even remotely enjoy it a little bit. People will get upset.
Well, if you're able to separate the fact that it isn't Star Trek, I guess there's not a problem in saying, "Oh, this particular scene didn't make me want to scratch my eyeballs out."
Well, never watch anything that makes you want to remove your liberate tutane.
Yeah. Well, the Comic Relief Crusader is experiencing this. I am so sorry.
And so now, let us plot our ultimate overthrow of the Empire.
Right, the Admiral Black is saying, "We'll make you captain just as soon as we can. We just don't have a ship ready right now." And Archer's like, "I got a ship. This is this ship right here. I want the Defiant."
Yeah.
And they're like, "No." And so his prime universe hallucination says that Admiral Black's just going to take credit for everything Archer's done, and he won't get the ship. And so Archer decides that Admiral Black has had his day. He's done. Mm-hmm. And so both ships gather in the launch bay, and Archer makes a dramatic speech. He's criticizes Starfleet for the recent annihilation of the Assault Fleet. Okay, and rallies the officers to his cause against Starfleet Command, proposing that they utilize Defiant's advanced capabilities. Yeah, so they're going to take over the Empire with the Defiant.
Makes sense. 100 years more advanced technology.
Mm-hmm. Captain Finity says, "I popped in this disc to rewatch this mirror episode."
Wicked cool, man.
On the same disc, there was an episode with the 3 Orion slave girls. So
makes sense.
I don't blame you. That episode. I watched season 1 of SNW, but it was 5 minutes into season 2, episode 1 that made me stop completely. Yeah, I watched the season 1 too, and I even reviewed it with Cobby. Those were such good times when he was able to be on Fridays. Yeah, no, those are my best memories of it, is talking to him about it. But the actual show, not good.
I think I saw the first episode of of the first season, and like half of the last episode of the first season. And then with season 2, I saw the one where Kirk and La'an go to Toronto, which was funny. And then I watched the one after that where they go to Rigel 7. And it was like, and that one I thought wasn't okay. It was okay when they lose their memories. I thought it was kind of cool.
And
But,
those are,
So
yeah,
like
I
3.5
don't know.
episodes of Star Trek Strange New Worlds I've watched because it's just not necessarily my jam. If things start getting good, maybe I'll visit it.
Uh-huh. Oh, and speaking of it, I don't know. I can't respond to your opinions of those episodes as I haven't seen it.
Sure.
Don Ranger Power says, Bonjour, Joe. Can you read this for me, please?
I'll do my best. Bonjour at Antiderivative Gel. Et tout, et joyeux. I don't know how to say 14. Julia France. J'espère que tout le monde va bien. Hi, Antiderivative Jill and all, and happy Bastille Day, France. Hope everyone is well.
Thank you. Thank you, Donnie. I didn't even know it was Bastille Day. You're always here with the important information.
True story.
Yes, I did update my profile pic in anticipation of Power Rangers Cosmic Fury and decide to keep my surname private. Oh, right. Okay, so I will refrain from repeating it, even though I do know what your surname is. You are now known as Don Ranger Power.
More phenomenal. Hello, sir.
Gee, I honestly love that 2-part Enterprise episode. I'm so glad you do. Anytime, my friend. Of course.
It's just such a treat to be able to see the classic Constitution fly.
Mm-hmm. And also, it's fun to see T'Pol getting into conspiratorial nature with Sabal to betray Archer. She gets the Defiant schematics, and she's going to give them to the rebels. And Zaval argues with her a bit at first, but eventually he's like, yeah, you know what? Okay. Because she says he used to be an idealist.
Well, and it's one of the things that sort of irks me or I have question about is in the mirror universe, would Vulcans actually say live long and prosper?
I don't
Or would
know.
they be like,
All I know from the mirror universe that we saw recently in the original mirror universe is that they're brutal. Their Vulcans are brutal. So would they come up with live long and prosper? They use I don't know.
it's just a question.
It is. No, I had that same question. I don't know how I missed it. I think I skipped over it. I skipped over some things at the beginning. And I did have that question too. It is a good one because they are very different in this universe. But they're still logical. And so when they say that, I don't know. They even offered it to the humans when they made first contact. So
Yeah, I thought that was strange too, but unless like the humans are the aggressors in this.
They are.
But then you get to Deep Space Nine and the Terran Empire does fall, so it's strange.
Well, that shouldn't have happened. Deep Space Nine should have never done that. But
why?
Because it makes Spock look like he was ineffectual in his revolution in terms of oh crap. I'm sorry. Hold on.
But and I think it is I don't think that the Terran Empire
well, the reason why I have a problem with it is because it makes peacefulness look stupid because it says that they de-armed themselves and that they no longer had as much weaponry, so that's why they fell. Being peaceful doesn't mean giving up your arms, doesn't mean giving up your weapons. It means changing how you use them, how you use your defense, the way that the Federation commands Starfleet to do it. So I just think it was poorly structured means of reversing the tables.
I'd have to revisit it. I'd like to revisit it. just to see the crossover, the first one, to learn of the failure of Spock.
Mhm. Oh, and Archer. Okay, well, now they're in the dark.
Huh. There you go. And the question as to whether or not it's time to dispatch T'Pol, or
Right. He says he's going to transfer off all non-Terrans from the ship except for Phlox because he's okay. His people have never become rebels before. And he's going to be emperor. Yay! On the bridge, T'Pol is downloading the Defiant schematics to give to the rebels, of course. And and Archer wants to talk to Fleet Admiral Gardner. Directs one of the security to take T'Pol to transporter room 2 because she's no longer wanted aboard the ship. Oh,
someone demanded. That's fun.
Gardner appears on the view screen. He's furiously astounded that Archer had the gall to admit Starfleet's unconditional to demand Starfleet's unconditional surrender. Okay, so Archer thinks he can be emperor right now. He's got the power, according to him. And that Admiral Black is unavailable for obvious reasons because he's dead.
Yep. Everybody's very angry because Archer has the best weapon in the quadrant.
Mm-hmm.
Sabotage.
And Phlox is going to sabotage. He's going to sabotage the Defiant with help from the Avenger because of Gary Graham. Soval, sorry.
And greetings to Rod Thunderheart and Raymond Feliciano.
Oh, hello to Raymond Feliciano and Rod Thunderheart. Great to hear from you guys. And the AI show says if they're going to bring in Carol Kane to SNW, why not Christopher Lloyd as Starfleet version of Reverend Jim from Taxi? He doesn't mind SNW. Okay. Yeah, there are some people who don't. And James Caserta says, I love not having to watch Star Trek anymore.
Yeah, that's a good
answer. The Comic Relief Crusader says, now it's probably live long and conquer. Brutal Vulcans. Wouldn't that just be Romulans? Yeah. You know what? In the Mirror Universe, Romulans and Vulcans are best of friends.
I would assume that maybe in the Mirror Universe, the Romulans never... Oh, wait, no. Romulans still would have diverged away because it took place thousands of years before Next Generation. And I think Bird of Prey had a theory. What City of the End Forever is the divergence from the Mirror Universe to the real.
Oh, right. Okay. Seeing as there are different timelines.
Right.
Or wait, but those are different dimensions. Different dimensions and different timelines are different things. But
that is also, I don't want to speak for Bird of Prey.
I have to ask him about it. Thank you. That's interesting. Because I guess this is the universe where the bad Germans won.
Yes, the bad Germans.
Yeah. Right. Hitler wins World War II in the universe in which the Nazi pacifism occurred too early. Dalek451 says, I was aware there was an episode of the show where we see TOS style starship, but I didn't know anything else about it. It was a Mirror Universe episode? Yeah. And it's the Defiant. James Caserta says, I dropped out the last year of Enterprise. The war arc would never be agreed to by Roddenberry.
But you know what he would agree with? Pretty Maids All in a Row. Uh,
He
I like
did.
the
He
War
made
Arc
it.
in Deep Space Nine. He did. He wrote it.
Don
Yeah.
Don Ranger Power says, speaking of Star Trek, genuine or not, 8 weeks more till Star Trek Day.
Yeah,
yeah.
the anniversary of broadcast.
That's always a
We
fun
get
day.
2 of them.
Oh, what do we do this year for that?
I don't know.
Well,
We'll
we have a
we'll
while to figure it out.
Yeah, we do. Hey,
Oh,
thanks.
here's Don Don's latest deviant art for Happy Bastille Day.
Enchanté.
Where is that?
What?
I have to find it in the actual.
Oh, are you gonna and show it on screen? Okay.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Why not?
It's a Friday, right?
It is. You got to get down on Friday.
Of course. You're gonna keep singing that until I
I
accept.
mentioned one lyric, and all of a sudden, I'm a Rebecca Black fan.
You are a Rebecca Black fan. Don't deny it.
Waking up, gotta have cereal.
Oh wow. Okay. So and then he even put a starship here.
Oh, good.
Nice.
Super Fabu.
Thank you for that, Donnie.
Yeah.
And he says, "Hey, everybody, driving from way up north."
Oh, wow. Have safe travels.
And this is how the universe should be, mirror universe should be portrayed, says Raymond Feliciano. Yes, absolutely. And Don Don says, well, S&W might not be genuine Star Trek per se, but the score is among the things I love about it the best. Mm-hmm.
Enjoying things is not a crime.
Rod Thunderheart says, oh yeah, I read that already. Read that one out of order. And Captain Infinity says, I was a Rebecca Gold fan until they changed the lead actress with no canonical explanation.
I've only seen the first one. I didn't see the second one.
Well, then isn't that like a James Bond thing then? Like,
yes.
She's still Rebecca Black, but she's just suddenly somebody else. Hello to Retro Scotty.
Hello, Retro Scotty.
How are you doing? On this wonderful Friday. And it's a great Friday to betray Captain Archer and send the Defiant plans to the rebels.
Yes. We'll build a whole fleet of ships.
Yeah. They convince him. They convince him it's a good idea.
Do we get the slides back?
Oh, the slides. Oh yeah, we do have slides.
Just curious.
I should show them. The captain's proven himself in battle. Perhaps he should roll, but he changed his mind pretty quickly. We could have a medical facility to conduct all of his crazy experiments, and also have all the concubines he could want. So he decides maybe it is time to overthrow Archer because he's insane.
Yes. See, this is what we need the slides for, just so we can bolster the poll. The poll.
Oh yeah, there is a poll in the chat. Which Mirror Universe crew member is most attractive? T'Pol is currently winning over Hoshi 65-35.
Ooh.
Yeah, Retro Scotty is doing fine. It's Friday. No complaints.
Huzzah.
James Caserta says, now I gotta go see this episode. You do. It's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Rebecca Gold, not Rebecca Black. It's Friday.
Oh, hey, you sang it this time.
Only because Darius typed it.
Okay.
I don't appreciate changing actors in James Bond movies neither. Okay, well, as long as you're consistent about it. Gary
Mhm.
Graham singing. Gary Graham singing Rebecca Black.
Gary Graham sighting.
Oh. Oh, Gary Graham sighting. No, but Gary Graham does sing.
He's part of the
Anyway.
band.
Yes. Exactly, Franco. The new one just is indifferent. She's mid. Still at work technically, but not a whole lot going on. And Don Don says, gee, that tune did introduce me to Rebecca Black. I honestly love it.
You and me both, Donnie.
Yeah. No, I hated it, but Scotty keeps beating it into my brain.
I try and be gentle.
The schematics. Oh, she knows about the schematics somehow. How does she know about the schematics? I don't
I
understand.
don't know.
How does she learn about it? Just because she's communications officer and she's the best.
There you go. Everyone,
idea.
everyone is being all very
Ooh.
mysterious and villainous. They're all getting their stuff.
Yeah, if you know what, yeah, if I didn't have the other image of T'Pol, this would have been
Oh yeah,
a good thumbnail for the second episode. If I had two different thumbnails. But T'Pol says, I don't know what you're talking about. Not precisely. She says it in a more Vulcan way.
yes.
And so they have a cat fight, a legitimate cat fight.
Hooray!
Amazing. And and T'Pol mentions all the beds that Hoshi jumps around in. Oh, man, that's pretty fun.
You're a filthy trollop, a Jezebel with loose morals.
Commander Tucker told me I should give you a few pointers in there.
Just calling each other's flags.
Oh my god, that's so fun. T'Pol wins. Obviously, it would be crazy if she didn't. She is a Vulcan.
Yes.
But then one of the boys who they thought she knocked out wakes up and shoots her. It stuns her, doesn't kill her.
Huh. Weird choice. See, that's
Right?
another thing. When it comes to the weaponry of the Mirror Universe, I wouldn't expect them to have a stun setting.
Yeah. Yeah, bitch. No, it's the proper the honorable term is cat fight, and it is a lovely cat fight indeed. Cat fight and giving advice, and didn't see that coming. Yeah, giving.
Love making
it was
pointers.
well, yeah, but it's more of a insult than advice.
True.
And Blocks is sneaking into the Jeffries tube so he can sabotage.
Hey, an Orion. Another Orion.
Oh man, I don't get a good shot of her, but she's there.
Mm-hmm.
I should have paused and got a better shot of her, but yeah, she's there and she's great. She looks really good. She was manning the helm. I think I remember that.
What's
yeah.
yeah.
And T'Pol also says having a federation of planets is inevitable. Humanity will pay for its arrogance. What's your question?
I forget.
Oh, I should have let you talk first.
No, not at all, not at all.
I like your questions.
I'll try and maintain them. I'll write them down in the future.
It's fiction, Scotty. You can do anything. Hey, wait a minute. But
That's
within
my
the
line.
constraint of, within the rules of the universe, there are rules. Anything you can't do anything, and this episode is a perfect explanation of how you can't do anything. They figure out how to do what they want without breaking canon, and it is marvelous.
Well, but also I enjoy this episode, and I enjoy its connections to other corners of the Star Trek sort of legacy, from First Contact to Tholian Web. But to speak to you can do whatever you want, someone watched the Tholian web and thought,
Mhm.
I wonder where that ship went.
Right.
How can we get it into the so you can and that does maintain, like, it still follows the rules, but it is an answer of, well, we can do anything we want. We'll just
You can do anything you want within reason.
yes.
You can't like hitch a fleet of unicorns to the starship and say this is how starships work now.
Right.
So there's a
You can,
reasoning.
are you bad mouthing the mycelial network?
Yes.
Good. I don't like it either.
Hey Cam.
Hey, Cam.
There's a literal person who is a mushroom on that show.
Is that the doctor? Is he actually
Yeah, that
the
was the
recruit?
doctor. He was a mushroom. He's a
doctor?
mushroom. He is a mushroom.
Huh. Oh well.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried
Yeah.
anymore. It bothered me at the time, but I'm okay now.
But isn't that weird? Isn't that something that the filth has been doing on a regular basis? Is introducing characters, killing them, and then bringing them back? Like that's what they did with Culber, and that's
Mhm.
like so.
Right. Yeah. Nobody has to die. They can. Everybody who dies in the filth can come back, and it's supposed to be a really rare thing, but not anymore. Anybody. It could happen to anybody. Death doesn't matter anymore. And Captain Infinity says, I'm being sarcastic. That's Scotty's position, and it's completely ridiculous and blatantly indefensible.
Oh, it's defensible.
Verisimilitude matters.
I can defend
And
it.
Cam says, I eat mushrooms.
Have a Culber.
I like mushrooms on my pizza.
Me too. I'm a big fan of portobello mushrooms.
Okay, so Phlox is sabotaging the Defiant with help from Saval, who's on the Avengers Bridge. And there's a power drain that's occurring. Tucker decides he's got to figure it out. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go see what's going on." In different words.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Avenger does something to the Defiant. What does it do? Target their primary hull. That's what they do.
And
Thank
fire.
you.
Yeah.
Slides.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Answer in the show.
Oh boy. So he finishes his sabotage, but not before Tucker catches him and beats him up. I don't know. Does he kill him? I know he battles, like he beats him up, but he
A lot of
floors
people
him.
go down and like by the time we get to the end of this episode, there's a lot of stuff going on. Sides are changed. People die.
But I don't know for sure if Phlox dies or not.
Well, I can check.
I don't know.
Off the top of my head, I am forgetful.
Me too. But he is unconscious if he is alive.
Right. Let's see.
And of course, it looks like Archer's gonna win. Look at this.
Hooray!
He's defeating the Avengers.
Yes.
And there's fire. Explosions.
It just says Tucker disables Phlox.
Yeah. Okay.
So not dead.
So he's not dead. He's not dead. So they're celebrating. Archer takes a drink. They toast to his plan to become emperor. And he continues to blather on about being emperor. Oh wait, yeah, that's the shot for that.
There you go.
And when he spills the drink into his mouth, she moves away. So we see why she moves away, because he collapses and he has been poisoned, obviously. And she, Hoshi Soto, makes out passionately with Mayweather. And
you've been replaced, aren't you?
Yeah. She's betrayed him, and she is taking control. She is Empress Coto. And that's how this ends.
Mm-hmm. And it was there was intentions, had they gone to a season 5 or beyond, they were going to
really?
revisit the mirror universe, but sadly, no.
No, sadly, what's his face? That guy. He canceled it.
Les Moonves, yes.
Les Moonves. I don't like to think about him. He canceled it. He's a jerk.
Mm-hmm. The things that could have been, not only with Enterprise, but also with Manny Coto. So we do remember you, sir, and thank you for bringing this, one of my favorites. There we go. Co-producers for the Garfield Judith Reeves Stevens. So they had, yeah. Getting actual science fiction Star Trek writers, because they were very prolific in their Star Trek novelization, or not novelizations, but original novels.
Yeah, and while we're at it, thanks to Major Barrett too.
Absolutely.
Oh, Michael Westmore.
I swear I can hear a tribble in the background.
You can? I don't have my tribble around. Unless my
fair
son's
enough.
playing with it.
It's just the sounds in my brain. So that was great. I'm glad we got to check that out. I wish it were under better circumstances, but it's always fun to pop in.
Better. Oh, right. Of course. Yes. But it's important to remember people, even when they're gone. It's not like a thing. It's a thing. It's documentaries that don't have to appear plausible because they are real. Well, and even documentaries are colored by the opinions of whoever is making them. But they are supposed to be portraying facts. Definitely. Agreed. Darius likes mushroom stamping. What?
Mushroom. I'm glad you said it. I'm not 100% sure what mushroom stamping is myself.
Try this fun art project. Oh, okay. You take the mushroom and you get it into some paint and you do art with it. It is your paintbrush.
Oh, I see.
That is kind of fun. Oh, I got to do that with my kids. That's nice. Thanks for the idea. Summer activities for the children when I want them to stop yelling at me for a few minutes. James Caserta says, a green animal woman captain.
Gotta love the Orions.
I do.
Mushroom stamping does sound like something best done in private, Cam. Yes.
I took it seriously, and I'm glad I did. That it is a real thing that is innocuous.
Well, it does have a double meaning as well.
Sure. Yeah. The AI show says, Captain documentaries are essentially entertainment like anything else, just mired in the real world to some extent. Captain Infinity says the regularity with which Scotty spots Star Trek inconsistencies, Scotty clearly doesn't believe his own nonsensical statement.
I believe all of my nonsensical statements.
Yeah. And there are plenty of inconsistencies in real Star Trek to focus on. But this episode did a really great job in that regard. I really enjoy it. Cam says, I'm about to take a drink myself. Hopefully that will make this seem sensible. Yeah. You had me at Hoshi Soto makes out passionately. She did look really passionate with Mayweather. She's just like, oh, well, I finally got the guy who I was actually attracted to this entire time.
Yeah, it took a long time, but the machinations succeeded.
And yes, rest in peace, Manny.
Yes.
Jill said it. I did. Whatever it is. Is that what Google said?
I am glad you're having a good time with the mushroom stamping, Jill.
I'm
Okay.
having. I can't. Okay, give me a second.
Yeah, no, take your time, compose yourself, check out Urban Dictionary and find out what the art projects for today will be. It's a good time.
Oh yeah, Urban Dictionary helps me out in so many things. Darius, you have the best comment of the day because I can't stop laughing.
There you go.
Is that what Google says about mushroom stamping? Yes, Jill, it's fun. It's fun for the whole family. Captain Kennedy says you can give James Bond the head of the unicorn, but nobody will see it. And Franco Walker says time for beer.
Cheers. Prost.
And Captain Finity says, right after this show, I'm going live to prove Scotty is trolling and that verisimilitude matters.
Good luck.
I don't know. I feel like there's some agreement that you can do anything, sort of, but it has to make sense within the rules,
sure.
the confines of the universe that you're in. And if that contradicts the meaning of anything, that means you can't do anything. And so, yes, Captain Finity, I think I agree with you. You cannot do anything. Unless your goal is to completely disrespect whatever you're trying to portray. If it's somebody else's work you're using, then yeah, you can do anything. It just won't be that thing that you're copying from.
Well, if you can creatively develop a story while maintaining the rules of the world, I think that you can do anything. But again, you're right. You have to respect the world and what has come before.
James Caserta says they pulled out all the stops for this one. They did. They did incredible. I just there was too much information on this episode, but everything I was reading, everything I saw, they kept saying we want to make it align with the original series, what happened in the Tholian Web, what happened with the Mirror Universe episode. There was so much attention to that detail that made this episode so good.
Yeah, and bringing in the Tholians and the Gorn is great.
Yeah, even the Gorn worked out for me. Because it's not Prime Archer seeing the Gorn first. That would have been terrible. But Mirror Archer, that's fine. Let's all get on a live stream and mushroom stamp together. It will be wholesome fun. Come on, says Darius Munchausen.
No, cams on. The cams have to be on.
Oh. Cams on. Oh, cams on. Oh. Yeah, all right. Thanks, Darius. Captain Finity says Scotty's ongoing double standards, verisimilitude must be stamped out. Stamped out. There's a lot of stamping going on today.
A lot of stamps.
Right now, all the time, at Captain Finity. James Caserta says I can do anything. Yeah, you can do anything that any goal you have, you can achieve it, James Caserta. If you believe in yourself. Darius Munchausen says there are limits. Anything is a bit inclusive. There are certain things that should not occur in a canonical universe. And the context was time travel, says Captain Finity, and malleable timelines. Inevitability. James Caserta says the beginning of cannibalization.
Shall we visit the Topol and see who has won on our hot off in the Mirror Universe?
Yeah, I think this was a pretty good. I really enjoyed looking at this episode. It's a lot of fun to see the actors get to do something completely different.
Yes.
Jill said, "Yeah, all right, Darius. You all heard it. She agreed to participate in the mushroom stamp session by proxy. Hey, you start up the live stream on your channel and I'm there. You haven't had a live stream in a long time, and you're due for a 400 subscriber celebration. Franco Walker says, I'm stamp collecting. So far, I've got mushrooms and outs.
Haha. Nice.
Mhm. So we've got, right now we have T'Pol winning at 67% with Hoshi at 33%. I'm glad that there is some love for Hoshi out there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm
I'm a
sure.
big
Mhm.
I'm a big fan of both. Like, but if I had to put
Right.
if I gotta choose one in this episode, I'm going with DePaul because I do like the original series uniform and I do like the crop top.
Well, I think if I would have put both as a third option, that would have won.
Probably. But as Gorilla said, it was an either or.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I adhere to that. I adhere to that idea.
But it's a fun. Did you have a rank for it, or are you going to hold off
No, I
ranks
didn't. I
for?
didn't rank it. Yeah, I'm holding off my ranking until Saturday Night Star Trek when we
Makes
review
sense.
it with Clobbering Times. But if anybody wants to say how they feel about it, they can let me know. But I'm keeping my review of this my official review of this episode secret until such time as Clobby reviews it on his channel, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. Right now, if you go over to Clobbering Times on Saturday, which is tomorrow, we begin reviewing Voyager. So we're going to review the episode The Caretaker pilot, and just the pilot, since it's the start of a new series.
Oh, okay, cool.
So apparently that's how it's done. And T'Pol is hot, says the Comic Relief Crusader. That's true.
67% of the poll agrees.
Mm-hmm. Cam says, yeah, I miss your live streams. They were a lot of fun. To Darius Munchausen. Yeah, Darius had some of the coolest streams ever. And he had 10 of them? What, 10 or 11? I think 11. And Raymond Feliciano of King Dolphin TV is off to take a nap to prepare for Friday Night Frolics. Can't wait for your show next Wednesday. Oh, right. And that is your show on your channel on King Dolphin TV. I'm sure the Stream Elements has been posting it, but I'm going to post it myself in the chat as you're heading out. Yeah. Make sure, I know you're probably subscribed to King Dolphin TV, but make sure that you've also got the bell clicked, because that'll tell you when he's actually going live, because YouTube is not very good at telling you who's going live if you're only subscribed. And Darius says, my new carpet is fully installed as of 2 hours ago, and I ordered a new desk for my office. Now I want to build a new PC. Oh, yeah, keep us updated on that.
Nice.
Oh yeah, no, it's not under Ray, but thank you. I think I have it under. What do I have it under? I forget. I'll have to look at my Stream Elements later to tell you the code for displaying King Dolphin. King Dolphin TV. Captain Infinity says, I miss everything about how YouTube was a year ago. Now I make original O. Well, let me just go find it so Darius is wiser to what it is. I've got to go to my dashboard on Stream Elements, and once I get there, I go to Chatbot and Chat Commands, Custom Commands.
Lovely.
Oh, okay, so it's under King.
Perfect.
Oh, you got it before I did. Okay, before I got you the right answer. Well done. Insights of pop culture to an empty panel and an audience of 3. Well, you know what? It doesn't matter how many people are listening at the moment because you always have people on the replay, and you never know a video that you share today that only gets a few views. It might get a few more later.
Right.
So it's important to not worry too much about that number while you're live. But I get it. It's kind of difficult to ignore it completely when it's a little low. And Raymond says, "Gotta do storyboarding over the weekend." To Comic Relief Crusader. Wow. And Franco says, "I agree. It seemed to work then. Even with the bell ticked, I still don't get notified." Okay? So untick it and then retick it again.
That's
maybe
usually
that'll help. And shout out to Sir Jacob. He's pretty great because he always shares all of my live streams on his community tab. He's the one.
Nice.
He's the reason why I share a bunch of streams on my community tab. I have been inspired by him. The Comic Relief Crusader says, "Yes, it's a shame when people hide their names and crash shows with perverted pictures." Oh, well, they could crash my show, like if they have my stream. That's why I don't put the link in the actual chat. But I did. If anybody who is not interested in crashing my show with perverted pics wants to join my panel, then they can. But if they want to do that, please stay away. But I don't know where that's coming from. It's weird.
Probably some mushroom stamping.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm just,
Oh yeah, that would make sense actually. Oh, okay. They're working on something cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, Comic Relief Crusader. And there was a lot of production stuff on the second episode that I didn't even get a chance to look at. I don't know if any of it's interesting, but if you want to look at it, there's lots more to learn on your commentaries.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
He said, "No, it happened on my show on Tuesday. I know who the person is."
Oh. I'm sorry that happened, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't know. That is not cool. That it would have to be somebody you've given some power to. That's kind of messed up because you have the ability to share screen, so you could see kind of what it is before you share it. But I guess I don't know. I guess maybe it can be misrepresented. That's crazy. Oh, and Hoshi got another. That's great.
Another percentage?
Yeah, another 3%.
Good for Hoshi.
Well. Oh, and the person is here too? Well, to that person, don't do that. That's rude. That's not cool.
It was Colonel Mustard in the ballroom with the lead pipe.
Oh, not the one with the candlestick?
Not the candlestick, no.
But that's our review for Enterprise.
Hooray! And thank you so much. Again, I wish it were under better circumstances, but it's always fun to be able to revisit this. Especially when I know that Enterprise may not be everybody's favorite, but when you compare it to some of the filth, it's head and shoulders above what we're getting now. And I've always been a fan of Bakula. So.
Oh, okay. Darius is right. Not exactly. They can just turn on their camera, and if they're on the panel, everybody gets to see a mushroom stamping demonstration. Aha. Okay. Yeah. See, that's true. I didn't think about that. That sucks. Is it me? Said James Caserta. No. I don't think it was you. And Franco Walker says, "I know. It's not me. Few things offend my sensibilities as much as ingratitude," says the Comic Relief. Says Darius to the Comic Relief Crusade. True enough. What do you got going on today, Scotty? What are you doing later?
I am just about to go and do some grilling. It's a lovely Friday in July in Canada. It's warm, the sun is shining, and it's dinner.
And it's
We're
perfect
gonna.
timing too for me.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, because I got stuff to do too.
Nice.
Gotta go pick up my daughter and do fun things with them.
Outstanding.
Mhm. New PC next Tuesday. Yay! Franco Walker's getting a new PC.
That's amazing.
And Darius is going to build a new PC. So, new PCs all around. And thanks everybody for being here. Franco Walker, the Comic Relief Crusader, Darius Munchausen, James Caserta, Franco Walker, Raymond Feliciano with King Dolphin TV was also here. Don Ranger Power with his new handle.
I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's descriptive of what you love, so that's pretty cool. And Captain Infinity is going to be live streaming in a little bit. Is Bird of Prey 5 still? Yeah, Bird of Prey 5 is still live, so you're going to have your choices of live streaming there. And of course, later on in the night, we're going to be able to listen to Doomcock share all of his favorite songs and different movies that inspire him. Sometimes he sings songs from like fantasy movies that I never heard of, and it's kind of fun when he does that. Then we also had Darius Munchausen was here. Who else? We had a good chat. And Cam Retro Scotty. Retro Scotty, I gotta catch you one of these days when you're not working. You seem to have a good channel.
But yeah.
And then the AI show was here. I'm just going through.
Did you say Ben from Cinema Gulp?
I have not. Ben
There we
from
go.
Cinema Gulp. Gulp.
Gulp.
And Matt G was here also. I think I saw Mega Cropper too.
I did see
Bell.
Mega Cropper. Gorilla's Random Thoughts.
Canadian Spider-Man.
Yep.
Cartography, he said earlier.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. People were listing different specialities. Herc 130. Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Dadman Walking 55. He should be streaming by now too. I forgot about him. Dadman Walking 55. Let me see if he's streaming. He is streaming his Fortnite stream. Yeah, that's gonna be wild. I wish I could do a 24-hour stream, but I cannot. It's impossible.
It is an endurance test.
It is. No, I could physically do it. It's just my responsibilities preclude me from being able to do that. I would lose everything if I did things like that.
Oh my.
Right?
Then don't do that.
I mean, right. Because I got life.
Life finds a way.
It does. Ervik Sonder was also here. Oh, Ervik Sonder is so awesome. Let's see if there was anyone else. Mr. CCDB. To Paul the Crop Top was his contribution. Dalek 451. Happy anniversary.
Yeah. To Dalek 451's parents.
Absolutely. I hope you guys enjoy your Bastille Day. I didn't even know it was Bastille Day, but thank you so much, Don, for letting us know, Donnie, about that. Now I know. My international holidays. Also, Jim's Landscape was here. He has a channel. Check it out. He does Star Trek fan films, and he can also do CGI for the starships and post pictures of his puppies videos. Mm-hmm. And Bird of Prey 5 was here before he started streaming, which is definitely appreciated.
Absolutely.
So I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Captain Infinity, enjoy your live stream. And before I go, I'm going to end the poll. To Paul is voted The most attractive 63 to 36% over Hoshi. And that was a funny kind of poll to do. A little different from our typical one kind of polls. And thank you to Gorilla's Random Thoughts for inspiring that poll. And Camp says thank you. Stream is set up and on standby. Woohoo! That's great.
Raring to go.
Franco Walker says it's International Nudism Day. Okay, I didn't know about that. James Caserta says stranded in an alien jungle, chased by a giant ogre. Every day is Bastille Day in France these days. Oh, that doesn't sound like a good thing. And so I'll leave you guys with a preview for my next original series episode review. We're going to be reviewing Bread and Circuses.
Yay.
Which is an episode of I have only watched once in my life, so I don't remember it very well. So I'm going to actually be learning about it pretty heavily on Tuesday.
Looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. And happy Friday, everybody. Talk to you guys later.
Thanks, everybody. See ya.
Captain's log, stardate 4040.7. We've run across one of the strangest examples of parallel planet development. What are we seeing? 20th century Rome?
Don't move! It's been a long time since I've watched barbarians die in the arena.
Fight, you poison-eared freak!
Your men dying, not strangers.
Do you know why you're not afraid to die, Spock? You're more afraid of living.
Let's go.
For this evening, I was told I am your slave. Command me.
All right, move along. Done. Stop it. Get off of the things. Go outside. Get some food. It's like, it's a time of day where you live. Go do something. Shut up, Snoopy. I don't care. You smoke too much. Let's go. Let's go adventure. Let's go explore.